Brady. This is going to be exciting.
And the guy restarts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
Texas Motor Speedway has been the backdrop for plenty of memorable nights, and tonight another chapter will be written under the lights here in Fort Worth. Hello everybody, my name is Sam Yosef. I'll be your commentator for tonight. Here we are at the Alexander PC's ARCA West Series. Last week we had the East, tonight we have the West. And then the ARCA Series will take on this fast mile-and-a-half oval where clean air, tire management, and timely decisions will often make the difference for these drivers. Well, the drivers are being strapped in, taking their qualifying in, the grandstands are getting ready, and in a few moments we'll be able to turn these drivers loose in what promises to be an entertaining night under the lights here at Texas. Well, like I said, my name is Sam Yosef. I'll be your commentator for tonight. We're here at the ARCA West Series, and we're going to bring up the schedule for the Summer Series. Looking at it, we're at race number 7. Our Summer Series is winding down for us. We're here at Texas Motor Speedway, almost at the end of our season, and going to head over to Auto Club to wrap up our Summer Series here at the ARCA Series. Like I said, we're here at Texas Motor Speedway looking at the track map and track analysis here in Fort Worth, Texas, outside of Dallas. 1.5 mile track with the huge banking that were repaved and reconfigured, which brings an interesting challenge for these drivers, especially with tire management. And that famous quad oval right at the end where we've seen drivers like Dale Earnhardt, Terry Labonte, and such have great races around here. Looking like our race analysis for tonight, 60 laps under the lights. Pit road speed's going to be 45, especially with that tricky pit road entrance. Driver's going to have to get down to 45 before the cone. Tire sets available for the one that they start with and 3 for the race. 2 green white checkered attempts if we need it. 70% fuel under an iRacing fixed setup. And from what I've heard from the drivers, it's going to be around 35 to 36 laps. But we'll see, especially if any cautions comes out, how the fuel strategy game is going to work. But definitely at least 1 pit stop for tonight. Well, while we wait for qualifying to end, as I'm looking at it right now, David Calvert is sitting at the top of the timing screen. But we'll wait till that is finished. But like I said, we'll bring back the schedule just for everybody to see. It's been a great season so far. Last week we watched the ARCA E Series at Talladega, and we saw some crazy racing from drivers out there. And honestly, it probably is good to come back to a mile and a half where driver skill will be important to get around. And then we're gonna wrap it up at Auto Club for the Summer Series. And if you heard from me before, Auto Club is probably one of my favorite tracks to drive in and to watch. So that's going to be an interesting race to see for these drivers. Another thing about Texas Motor Speedway, especially now that we're under the lights, looking at the weather, track temp is going to be low, not the typical summer heat that's going to affect these drivers and the tires. but track temp is going to be around 75 degrees. So really the car will be balanced and hopefully it'll be something special for these drivers. Well, I'm hearing that the pole position has been secured. So let's bring in our pole winner for tonight, presented by Jam Printing and Promotions. It is not Brandon Wallace. I apologize. It's going to be David Calvert. David Calvert able to secure his pole position for tonight. Congratulations to him. As we wait for the rest of the field to, looks like the field is starting to go in. So we're gonna bring up the grid for the rest of the field. And like I said, David Calvert will sit on pole with Nate Cotilla sitting on his outside. Starting at third will be Trevor Dyer in the 64 with Brandon Gibbs sitting on his outside. The 99 of Brandon Wallace will start in fifth with Dustin Loxton in the 381 starting in sixth. Seventh place, Darren Price will get that position with Chandler Tingle starting in eighth place. Matt Bove will qualify in ninth place. He's going to look for a good start and finish after yesterday's race. And Chuck Peckleck-Phelps starts in P10. Brock Price in the 43 will start 11th with Chris Bargetzi starting in 12th. Kevin Price will start 13th with Charles Aber starting in 14th. Nick Trussell in the 22 will start 15th with James Edwards starting in 16th. Reno Connor will start in 17th with Hayden Heiner, in 18th. Tom Johnson will start in 19th with Thaddeus Friel starting in 20th. Scott Martin in 21st, Bill Melfield in 22nd, Hayden Muir in 23rd, and Armando Melgosa in 24th, and Doug Ellingson to wrap up our field. Well, folks, it looks like the pace car lights is going to be out. We're looking like that we're going to get started with this race. 60 laps under the light. Pace car is coming in, and we're going to have the green flag for this race. It's presented by Extreme Scoring. David Calvert to lead the field, and we are off. David Calvert leading the field into turn 1 and 2 with Trevor Dyer sitting on the back of his car trying to get a run with Nick Cotilla also. And Brandon Wallace makes a huge run into turn 3. He's putting that car to the bottom, and it looks like we're going to have a challenge for P3. Brandon Wallace and Nick Cotilla are going to cross the line. David Calvert will lead our first lap. 2 by 2 right behind the leaders. Brandon Wallace is going to head into turn 1 holding off, but he has Tingle, Gibbs, and all these other drivers. Cotilla also trying, and the yellow flag is out. Just trying to see what's going on over here. See Scott Martin and Doug Ellingson rolling slow. We're going to take a replay of that. So we're finishing lap 1. Doug Ellingson fighting. Oh, contact between Doug Ellingson and Scott Martin. Not what we want to see. Let's go to the cockpit view. Try to get a replay of that. Doug Ellingson, Scott Martin. So Scott's side is trying to get past Doug Ellingson and just gets collected in that situation. Let's do one more replay of that just so folks can see really what happened. Scott Martin, Doug Ellingson trying not to hit each other. Looks like Scott just forgot that Doug was there and runs into him, and there goes the crash. Well, not what we wanted to see. but we're going to be under yellow flag. David Calvert and the rest of the field. Looks like a lot of the field stays out. Few drivers in the pits. Brandon Gibbs in the pits. Looks like he's going to get some fuel and tires. Doug Ellingson uses his fast repair to get out. Well, Brandon Gibbs is out. Let's look at the rest of the field. Tom Johnson, Scott Martin, and Doug Ellingson also getting their service done. Looks like both drivers will now exit the pit. So let's go back to the front. David Calvert with the lead after 2 laps or 2 laps under green. And David Calvert, definitely one of our strong ARCA drivers in Goat Locker Racing. Looking forward to the fall series. Definitely, if you are interested in racing in Goat Locker, our fall series will start around August 25th. So if you are interested in racing in our leagues, head over to the Discord. I don't have the Discord link available to show, but be able to join through the Discord, get your signups in before the league starts on August 25th. Well, it looks like David Calvert. Sorry, I keep calling his father's name, but David Calvert is gonna take the inside for the restart. Trevor Dyer gonna sit on his outside, and we are gonna be 2 by 2 as we see. I believe that's Kevin Price coming out of pit road. Looks like he had a late start, and so he'll be 2 laps down. But David Calvert, he had a strong start at the beginning of the race. But Trevor Dyer is also one of those fast drivers, especially working with Trevor Dyer in other leagues. He is one of those drivers where he will wait and hunt you down and make his move at the end. Other drivers I see in the top 5, Brandon Wallace, he had a huge start in the beginning. He was able to get past Nate Cotilla, who's now P4, and Chandler Tingle will wrap up our top 5. He has Dustin Loxton on his outside for this restart. Let's get back to the front. Barney is waiting for these drivers at the start finish line. David Calvert will lead the field to the extreme scoring restart zone. Always love running under the lights here at Texas. It's a beautiful, beautiful night. Looks like the crowd's ready for these drivers. And it looks like Barney has the green flag up. David Calvert into the restart zone, and we are green again here at Texas. David Calvert with a commanding start, but Brandon Wallace on the bottom is on his way to the front. Great shot right there. Brandon Wallace is able to move into P2. Trevor Dyer is going to send it to the inside, and he's going to hold it, try to get that P2 position back. These drivers are really going at it right now. Looking at the bat, Nate Cotilla and Chandler Tingle also battling. Looks like Dustin Loxton wants to get part of it, and we're going to go into the back right here. As this battle goes out, we have a 5, 6, 7-way battle for the last of the top 10. Matt Bove, James Edward, Brock Price, Caden Heiner, Thaddeus Friel, all trying to gain positions. Oh, almost contact right there. Oh, we have contact. The 34. Brandon Gibbs is around. Oh, no, in the yellow will be out. Bill Mofield, Matt, wow, Reno Connor looked like he got caught up in that. Brandon Gibbs also caught up in that. We're going to get a replay. Looks like, 667 of Scott Martin once again involved in a wreck. Not what we want to see. We're going to send it back to a replay. Brandon Gibbs right there. Looking at these drivers. Brandon Gibbs, let's go to his cockpit. You can just see him battling with Thaddeus Friel. Thaddeus Friel cuts down Matt Bove. And it just runs out of space for Brandon Gibbs and Thaddeus Friel. And hard contact for Bill Mofield into that car. Let's go to Thaddeus Friel's point of view. You can see right there, these drivers all gathered together. going through turns 1s and 2 by 2, but spread out. Has a big run, almost hits Caden Heiner. Has a huge run coming off. Matt Bowe slows up, which then forces Thaddeus low. Then he tries to come up and tags the 34 of Brandon Gibbs. Then let's look at Bill Mulfield's cam right there. Let's go to his cockpit. Bill Mulfield just minding his own business, running through the field, sees the accident happen. See Brandon Gibbs with Thaddeus Frill, and then looks like physics did its job and took Bill Mulfield out. Nothing he could have done to avoid that. So unfortunate for him. Bill Mulfield back on track. Looking at back to the front. Trevor Dyer, as we were looking at that situation, was able to get the lead from David Calvert. Our top 18 did not hit the pits for this caution, so our top 18 cars are still out on their first set of tires. Like I said, fuel strategy is about 35, 36 laps for these cars tonight here. So I don't expect these drivers to really hit down pit road until maybe lap 20, 25 if there were to be a caution again. And then if we were going to go green, we may have a late pit stop. I'm sure drivers are clutching as best as they can, trying to save as much fuel, especially if we have these cautions. You know, maybe you might be able to get without even stopping tonight, but we'll see. Trevor Dyer out there. David Calvert, Brandon Wallace. Let's look through the rest of the field. Chuck Feltz is out here tonight. Oh, that's Chris Bargetzi, but Chuck Feltz is out here tonight. Looks like he has his driver cam out. Oh, that is not Chuck Feltz. That is Nate Cotilla. There's Chuck Feltz. Once again, Chuck Feltz in his Marine outfit. Holding out on track. I'm sure Chuck is going to be like, what is wrong with you, Sam? But yeah, Chuck Feltz was on track, folks. We got Charles Abert as well. James Edwards now flirting with the top 10. But we're going to get back to the front with Trevor Dyer, who was able to take the lead right before the caution came out. He's going to lead this field into the extreme scoring restart zone once again. Looks like it's been action-packed so far, folks. Pace car is down. We're heading into the extreme scoring restart zone. Barney has the green flag and hold. Trevor controls, and he is off for the race. Trevor Dyer with a huge jump. Nate Cotilla hits to the bottom, tries to get behind Brandon Wallace, have the better line. Looks like David Calvert is going to be stuck on the outside, but he's going to have a better run coming off. Beautiful shot of these cars coming through. Look at that backstretch. Cars fighting everywhere to get a spot. Looking through that. We're on board with James Edwards battling it out with Darren Price. 2 by 2, Charles Abert. Chris Bargetzi also battling it out. Caden Heiner trying to find his way through up the field as well. Back stretch shot of these cars right here. Looking at that. Whoa. We're heading. Let's look up at Chuck Feltz. He's trying to get past Chandler Tingle for that position. Looks like he's going to sit behind while David Calvert now fighting with Nate Cotilla for P3. And Dustin Loxton once again is going to sit behind these drivers waiting to pounce on this. So in side by side into turn 3, and really, if you know how to drive these cars, you could hold it at the bottom almost full throttle if you really want to get the move done. Now it looks like that's what David Calvert just did, and he's able to take that P3 position. And now Dustin Loxton will fight with Nate Cotilla for the next position. Looks like he's going to get that pass. Nate Cotilla still sitting on the outside line, not really what he wants to be, trying to find that clean air. Look in the back of the field, James Edwards and Brock Price fighting it out. Caden Heiner on the low side, a little slow. Beautiful shot coming through this corner. It looks like Caden Hire is going to fall behind. Brock Price sitting on the high side, trying to get past as we start lap 14. Let's go to the back of the field. Thaddeus Friel and Reed O'Connor trying to get through. Looks like that's gonna be done. Little mix up right in front of Thaddeus. He doesn't want to tag another driver again. It looks like he's going to be able to sit down. Let's go back to the front, folks. Trevor Dyer with the commanding lead so far, but he has Brandon Wallace on his heels. Trevor Dyer knows how to control the field, but will he be able to hold off Brandon Wallace? Brandon Wallace is one of those drivers who will take his time, and he won't be shy to really annoy you all race until you really give up that position. It looks like Trevor Dyer has complete control right now. Brandon Wallace trying to find the clean air and hit beside Trevor Dyer right now. Looks like our top four have now started to pull away almost a second from Chandler Tingle and Nate Cotilla. Looking at Nate Cotilla, he has Chris Bargetzi. Or, sorry, Dustin Loxton is in the top four. Chandler Tingle is back here right behind Nate Cotilla. Chris Bargetzi going low, making a block on Chuck Feltz. Almost looked like a block. I might be wrong, but it looks like Charles Abert is now finding his way to get past Chuck Feltz for P8. Looks like P8 will be his for this lap. As we see Nate Cotilla and Chandler Tingle now battling it out for that P5 position. Nate Cotilla really trying to work that car through. And let's get a view of Nate Cotilla as he's handling this traffic behind him. As you can see, Nate Cotilla, pure concentration. And man, I think that's a joystick right there. Whoa, I've never seen that before. Oh! Contact for Chandler Tingle behind. Nate Cotilla is probably happy about that. He's able to control and stay away from that. Chandler Tingle getting mixed up with Brock Price and Charles Abert and Chris Bargetzi. Chris Bargetzi and Chuck Feltz now battling out. Darren Price in the background trying to pounce for position. Well, the battles are heating up. I see Thaddeus Friel back there. Thaddeus Friel, he was out in the back after his accident. Let's take a look at Thaddeus Friel. Looks like Thaddeus, oh, he's also focused as well, folks. Nothing really bothering this man right now. He's just trying to find his way through this field, battling with Kanan Heiner and Darren Price. Well, great battle so far. Chuck Feltz and Darren Price now battling. Oh, Darren Price into the wall. I think he was trying to avoid hitting Chuck and just went a little too far. And now that might be damage for Darren Price. That was a good lick for him on the wall. We'll have to wait and see. Looks like he's recovering and he's going to be back out there. Let's go back here. Hayden Muir getting past Tom Johnson. Actually, no, Hayden Muir looking like he got passed by Nick Trussell. I apologize. So we're going there, but we're going to the front. Looks like a battle's brewing up. Brandon Wallace was sitting in second. Now he's moved to third, and now Dustin Loxton is now fighting for that P3 position. So Brandon Wallace may have burned up his tires already. We don't know. Maybe he's playing the long game. David Calvert back up, our pole winner, back up into P2 following, and side by side, Brandon Wallace and Dustin Loxton to start lap 23. Those drivers still into 1 and 2 side by side. It looking like a great battle so far. We'll see how this continues on. Let's go to the back of the field a little bit. Chris Bargetzi and Brock Price now trying to fight their way through. Looks like Chris Bargetzi is going to fall back. Going back up front, Dustin Loxton is able to get past Brandon Wallace. And now he'll take that P3 position as we start lap 24. But David Calvert, he's starting to pick up a little steam. Looking at the lap time so far, he was a little bit faster, almost half a tenth faster than Trevor Dyer that lap. So our pole sitter really trying to get back to the front. Let's look at this battle back here. Brock Price and Charles Abert. Brock Price taking that high line, trying to get the speed off exit, but he's not able as Charles Aber's really using the toe. And it looks like he's going to get into it now with Chandler Tingle. Let's see. Charles Aber goes low. Trying to get a better shot of this. Almost 3 wide. 3 wide. Nate Cotilla had a little slip up. We're 3 wide into the backstretch. Three wide once again. Almost contact between Charles Aber and Dustin Loxton. Had to let that simmer for a little bit. Brock Price is now getting past Nate Cotilla, as also Chris Bargetzi. But it looks like Brock Price and Nate Cotilla are going to stay side by side. This battle is brewing up, folks. Looking at our ticker right now, trying to see if there's anything else going on. It doesn't. So this is our best battle on track right now. Brock Price heading low. Nate Cotilla will be high. Now it looks like Charles Aber is the big winner so far out of that. He's able to get past Chandler Tingle and take that P5 position and start hunting down Brandon Wallace. Looking at this shot right here, you see where these cars are driving on these corners. Really important how they take these corners to not burn up these tires. As I said, the track temp isn't as bad. It looks like it's heated up just a little bit. We're up 7 degrees from the start, so track temp is heating up. Cars might be getting a little bit looser. We'll see what these drivers do. But this battle is now looking like it will. Oh, Brock Price now to the inside on Chandler Tingle. Chandler Tingle takes a deep run into the corner to stay ahead. Going to the front, David Calvert and Trevor Dyer now battling it out. So it looks like Dustin Loxton, David Calvert, and Trevor Dyer have now pulled away from Brandon Wallace. And now Trevor Dyer is on the defense. So once again, he had to run out from Brandon Wallace putting pressure. Then now he has David Calvert on his heel. As you can see, these drivers just trying not to really use too much tire so far in this race. But as we go and get ready to start lap 30, it looks like the top 3 is now heating up. We're probably around 10 to 15 laps away from pits, but hitting at the halfway mark, I wouldn't be surprised if drivers come into the pits, try to do an undercut to gain position. Let's go to the back of the field as that battle is hitting. Looks like Chris Bargetzi and Brock Price are battling it out. Brock Price really using that high line to his advantage as a really good defense. Let's go back to Brandon Gibbs and Chuck Phelps now battling it out for the P11 position. Brandon Gibbs was involved in that earlier accident with Thaddeus Friel, but looks like he's been able to work his way back up front into near the top 10. He takes the high line up in turn 1, so he's going to have a better exit than Chuck Phelps with the speed. And it looks like they're going to stay side by side, Brandon Gibbs and Chuck Phelps. Let's go back to Chris Bargetzi and, oh no, Brandon Wallace. Brandon Wallace is tumbling. Brandon Wallace is not tumbling. He's actually into the pits. So Brandon Wallace, like I said, somebody might come in and do a little undercut. And it looks like Brandon Wallace will for this race. So Brandon Wallace now into the pits. See if he's in the box. See what he does, how many tires he takes. It's going to be 2 on the lefts. It looks like he's going to go up to the right. Let's get back to the race here. Dustin Loxton has been putting pressure on David Calvert now. Thaddeus Friel now into the pits as well with James Edwards. So drivers now starting to think about their pit stops in this race. Tom Johnson moving up to P17. Oh, David Calvert and Trevor Dyer going into the pits. No, that was a hairy situation right there. But our leader and second place, and it looks like Chuck Phelps and Caden Heiner will be behind. Oh, Aiden Muir spins but doesn't hit the wall. Let's look for black flags. Black flag for Hayden Muir and Bat Bow for speeding on pit entry. Brandon Wallace looked like he had a black flag. He's now leaving the pits. So a lot of drivers getting caught out by that pit entry here at Texas. It is tricky. David Calvert and Trevor Dyer will be fine. It's going to be, let's look at the battle off pit entry. Looks like they're going to be close. And no black flags. Dustin Loxton with a black flag for speeding on pit road. So that really will shake up some of the field, especially with Brandon Wallace getting hit with that black flag and hold in pit road. Dustin Loxton, like I said, has a black flag. Other drivers now starting to hit pit road. Nick Trussell into the pits. Charles Aber now assumes the lead. And some of these drivers like Chris Bargessi, Reno Connor, Nate Cotilla, Brandon Gibbs, he pitted around. I'm trying to see if I can get any info on the last time he pitted, but Brandon Gibbs, he pitted on lap 9, so he could go probably to lap 43, 44. But Charles Aber holding the lead so far. Let's check in on Charles Aber right now. Calm, cool, and collected right now. A lot of drivers right now going a lap down as he stays out. Trevor Dyer, David Calvert are a lap down right now. And if a yellow were to come out, that would trap almost majority of our field a lap down, which would not be the best situation. As we see Charles Aber, he's going to hit down into pit road, and he's going to hit for his tires, and no black flag for him, so it looks good. Chris Bargetzi will now assume the lead for this race. Let's look at the battle between Trevor Dyer and David Calvert. This would be assumed P1 and P2 if our pits cycle out. Looks like Trevor Dyer has put himself out to a 1.1 second lead. So Trevor Dyer really putting on the gas now. Charles Aber leaving pit road. He's going to have a few laps fresher tires, so we'll see if that benefits him. Brandon Gibbs now our assumed leader, as Chris Bargetzi and Reno Connor have hit the pits. Nate Cotilla and Brandon Gibbs and Tom Johnson are our remaining drivers to hit pit road. Brandon Gibbs and Tom Johnson did pit on lap 8 and 9, so they can go a little bit further than Nate Cotilla. Nate Cotilla, he hasn't pit yet, so he's going to have to get some fuel in the next lap or two. And then you could see Trevor Dyer in the background catching up to our leaders to get his lap back. So Trevor Dyer and David Calvert will assume the lead or get their lead back. We see Nate Cotilla and Tom Johnson really going at it right now. Oh, no, Nate Cotilla and not really sure who that car is right there. I think that is a lap car. Nate Cotilla goes to the high side. Brandon Gibbs still. Oh, Brandon Gibbs hits the wall just a little bit. Looks like that's Darren Price now getting past. Darren Price sitting in P15. And Trevor Dyer now gets his lap back. Or he's fighting to get his lap back. And you see David Calvert in the background also trying to get his lap back. So it looks like our leader still is going to stay out. Brandon Gibbs, Nate Cotilla. Let's go to the rest of the field. Reno Connor. Oh, getting split right now. You can see the difference for some of these drivers who are on fresh and older tires. Thaddeus Friel and Reno Connor battling it out for the P9 position. Looks crazy behind them right now. Let's go to Chuck Phelps. Chuck Phelps now battling out with James Edwards and Caden Heiner for the P11 and P12 position. Bill Mofield sitting back there in P14 as well. Let's go to Brock Price. Brock Price now putting pressure on Charles Aber. Now, Charles Aber did pit on lap 37, so he has 2 lap fresher tires than Brock Price. So I'm assuming that Brock Price got passed by Charles Aber. Great battles on track so far. James Edwards, Chuck Phelps, and Caden Heiner now battling it out. Chuck Phelps sitting on the bottom with James Edwards sitting on the high side. These guys they have Matt Bove that they're going to have to navigate around. Matt Bove holding up, and you see Nate Cotilla coming out of the pits, holding up that battle right there. So Chuck Phelps is going to be able to get under and hold off Tom Johnson, but Tom Johnson has a run. Kenyon Heiner is going to be pushing him as well. Great driving by these drivers so far. Chuck Phelps, he's been in control. I mean, look at that. Chuck is also calm, cool, and collected right there. Looks like he's not worried about anything right now. He's got his tires and he's got his fuel for the rest of the race. So nothing to really worry about on Chuck's mind now other than finishing the race. Well, apologies on that. Looks like we're going to start lap 45. So we're under 16 to go for this race. Let's look at the battle between Brandon Gibbs. I think Brandon Gibbs is coming out of the pits right now. Yes, indeed. Brandon Gibbs is now coming out of the pits. So Chris Bargetzi is able to pick up P6. Brock Price now still putting pressure on Charles Aber after the battle for their position earlier. Let's go out to the front, though. Tom Johnson, who pitted on lap 8, is still out in front, folks. I just realized this. I thought Trevor Dyer was out in the lead, but no, Tom Johnson is in the lead. Let's look at him. Going to his cockpit. Is he clutching through the corners? Oh, he's slowing up. Looks like he's going to be pitting. So Trevor Dyer is going to assume the lead soon. I thought there was something that Tom was doing that I just completely missed, but no. Tom Johnson, you can see Trevor Dyer passing for the lead, and Tom Johnson hits the pits. He's definitely not getting a black flag. And now our new leader, Trevor Dyer, he's been the man of the race so far. 27 laps led by Trevor Dyer. And I'm sure that count is going to continue to grow as we get near to the end of the race. Brock Price and Charles Aber still battling it out. Kenyon Heiner also putting pressure on Chuck Phelps, but looks like that battle is starting to simmer out. So let's go to this battle between Brock and Charles right now. Gonna be under 11 to go next lap. This battle's starting to brew up a little bit. Brock Price definitely wants to get that podium, especially after his Grand National race yesterday. Really wants to have a solid result tonight. Going through the back of the field, let's look at Thaddeus Friel. He's made his way to the top 8 after a rocky start in the beginning. Thaddeus Friel has been able to push his way up to the top 10. And now he's going to start putting pressure on Brandon Wallace. Looking at the tire difference, but Brandon Wallace is actually a lap down after his black flag hold in the pits. Thaddeus Friel is actually chasing after Reno Connor in P7. That's in front of Brandon Wallace. So I apologize for that. Looking at Thaddeus, what's going through his mind right now? All he can think about is he just needs to get as many more positions as he can. I mean, starting from 20th up to P8, definitely show what our position gain loss for the race is. I'm honestly, he's probably got to be our biggest mover of the race so far. So a great job by Thaddeus after his incidents to really move up to the front. Let's go back up to the top 3 battle. This battle has been going on all race. Price and Aber really trying to, they're doing a tango right now. That's all I can really call it. They're really just doing a tango between each other. Charles Aber doing great defense right now, giving that dirty air to Brock Price, but Brock Price is always able to get close, about a 10th behind. And then that air wall just hits in front of him and he's just not able to make that run. So he's going to have to find a way to get past, but It's going to be difficult as we're under 8 to go. Go back to Caden Heiner and Nate Cotilla. Nate Cotilla had a great start to this race. Up in P2, P3. We saw him up the front. He's now falling back to P10. Caden Heiner up 7 positions. So great run for him so far. Working to get that final top 10 position in the race. And once again, oh, he does have a huge run. Let's see what he does. Looks like he's going to hold off Nate Cotilla, doing some really good blocking. Ethical blocking, I'll say. And Caden Heiner is going to have to re-rack and chase again. Nate Cotilla now picking up the toe with Chuck Phelps. So we have a battle for P9 and P10 now, folks. Looking through the rest of the field, Trevor Dyer still holding a 2.5 second lead from David Calvert. Charles Abert and Brock Price still bounding out, but the distance between Brock and Charles has now fallen to about 4/10. Chuck Phelps getting passed by Nate Cotilla on the high side. Nate Cotilla rockets himself into P9. And now Chuck Phelps trying to hold off Caden Heiner for that final P10 position. 5 to go here at Texas under the lights. It's been a great race so far. Looking at the race recap, only 2 cautions, but 7 lead changes through our pit stops. So great driving by all these drivers out here. Really great to showcase our ARCA West series and how well they're doing tonight. Caden Heiner really trying to work his way around Chuck Phelps. Chuck Phelps is not an easy driver to give up. He's going to make it hard for Caden Heiner, make him earn that P10 position. As you can see right here, just holding off on the throttle, that tricky 1-2 for Caden Heiner here at Texas. Nate Cotilla trying to get past lap traffic. And Caden Heiner sends it on the inside. What a move by the youngster, Caden Heiner. I'm not even sure. I don't even know if he's 13, 14 years old yet, but that was a veteran move by the youngster to take that P10 position. Well done, young man, for getting that. Chuck Phelps now under pressure by oh, no, Chuck Phelps is not under pressure. I think that's a lap car. Yeah, that's a lap car of Scott Martin. So Chuck Phelps is okay, but he's going to have to get that position back from Caden Heiner. But we're at 2 to go. Let's go to Trevor Dyer. Trevor Dyer, once again, Trevor Dyer with a great race so far. Honestly, masterclass by Trevor Dyer. Couldn't expect nothing less from him, as he's going to take the white flag here at Texas. Presented by Glove Station. Honestly, great showing by him as he gets his way through. Brandon Gibbs is going to be trying to work his way around Chris Bargetzi for that last position. We'll check in back on that as Trevor Dyer comes home and takes the checkered flag here at Texas. Let's go to this battle. Looks like Brandon Gibbs was able to get past. We're going to take a replay of that. Oh, man, I'm sorry. We're definitely going to get a replay of that, folks. So look at Chris Bargetzi trying to hold off Brandon Gibbs. And he sends it into turn 3. Chris Bargetzi tries to do the switchback, but Brandon Gibbs is able to hold that off to the line. And it looks like Brandon Gibbs was able to do what he needed to do. Let's do another replay of that. Sends it up the inside. Looking at this finish to the line. And yeah, Brandon Gibbs just has a solid finish out there. So congratulations for Brandon Gibbs on that right there. Well, folks, we're gonna take our break. Trying to see if he's burning it down. Yes, he is. Oh, he killed his engine right as I switched to him. And what a win by Trevor Dyer. We're gonna take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Well, folks, that was a great race here at Texas under the lights. We'll get your results here quickly. Trevor Dyer, with an insane amount of laps led tonight, able to control the field and take P1 starting from P3. David Calvert, he was the pole winner, but he finishes on P2. Charles Aber able to hold off Brock Price for P3. Brock Price in P4. Brandon Gibbs, as we saw across the line, gets that P5 from Chris Bargetzi. Great battle between those two. Reno Connor finishes on P7 from 17th. Great job by him. Thaddeus Friel up to P8 after starting out in P20. Great job by him. Nate Cotilla started on our outside. He's going to finish in P9. And Christopher Heiner, the young man, really with a great move to gate that P10. Looking at the back half of the field, Chuck Phelps takes away P11. Darren Price in P12. Dustin Loxton in P13. Nick Trussell in P14. Brandon Wallace, after getting caught out with that black flag, will finish out in P15. Tom Johnson will sit out in 16th. We got Tingle in 17th. Hayden Muir in 18th. Bill Mofield, after getting caught up in that accident, in P19. Martin will finish out in P20. And then for the remaining positions, Matt Bove in P21. Edwards in P22. Kevin Price in P23. Doug Ellingson in P24, and Andre Melgoza looks like he wasn't able to get a lap in. Well, I'm going to bring up our race winner for tonight. Trevor Dyer, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Trevor, I'm not surprised to see you out in the winner circle, especially racing with you in other leagues, but I mean, walk us through that win, man. It looks like you were having a good battle between David Calvert for a little bit, Nate Cotilla, all those other drivers. Just walk us through what your strategy was.
So I knew that I had a fast lap here from practice, so I knew I was in good standings. And with the way that the restarts are, because I was expecting at least one more caution, I knew I had to get to the inside for the restarts because the outsides are so terrible. And so with that, I got momentum off of passing Brandon. Like I got into his draft and just right place, right time, and carried that momentum. I was just talking to David there, and just claimed that inside going down into turn one, and it was so crucial to have that inside covered up because if not, then people, once they get to your inside, it's just a matter of hanging on at that point, on the outside to maybe only lose one position. But apart from that, David, he really stayed tucked into my draft, and so he did a really good job at doing that. And then it came down to pit row battles, and I guess it, he we were tied up until the exit of the pits, and so it was just a race off pit road to see who was gonna take that lead spot after pits cycled, and then from there it was just lap cars. But I mean, it was a really fun race. Very very close.
Yeah, definitely indeed. Well, Trevor, you really showed out tonight. Had the most laps led for tonight. So, with that win, who would you like to thank?
I would like to thank my sponsor. I'd like to first thank my family, my mom, dad, and aunt for always supporting me, racing and following my dreams. And now I'd like to thank my sponsor, VAN, Veterans and Affiliated Networking. We are a soon-to-be nonprofit looking to help veterans with coaching for everything iRacing, from getting better at racing, broadcasting, and paints. Van is looking to help veterans in iRacing at no cost to them. But most of all, I'd like to thank the Lord above. Thank you. And thank you, Sam.
Yeah, no problem, Trevor. Well, great to hear from you, man. We'll see you next time out in Auto Club. You have a good night, buddy.
Yes, sir. See you then.
That was Trevor Dyer, our race winner. We're gonna move to second place, David Calvert, into the booth. David Calvert, you got a copy.
Yeah, I got you.
David, welcome. Well, it was an interesting race. You really were trying to put the pressure on Trevor Dyer. Pit stops didn't really work your way, even though you guys did leave around the same time. Was lap traffic an issue, or was it just not your night tonight?
I mean, it was kind of hard to pass. There was times I thought I was a little quicker, but just not quick enough to pass him. And he got off pit road, very quick. Like I kind of slid it a little bit, but yeah, he was just flat out faster than me tonight. So um, yeah, it was a good run for him, and I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. It was fun. Lap traffic played a little bit in my favor, and a little bit not in my favor. It just sometimes it's just how it goes. It's their right to be there.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more with you on that. I mean, walking us through that, you had the pole position, so congratulations on that. With Auto Club being next week, what's your thoughts on that?
Uh, I'm a big fan of Auto Club. I think it provides some of the best racing there is on here. There's so many different lanes to choose from. It's one of my favorite tracks. So hopefully I can top the leaderboard.
Definitely, indeed. I mean, especially with pole position area Texas, I'm sure you can compete for that pole position out in Auto Club. But well, with that second place, David, who would you like to thank? Any shout outs you want to give out?
But yeah, first off, is always got to give it to God. Glory to Him. He means everything. And I hope He reaches somebody that may not know Him. And then I mean, y'all do I want to give it to y'all up there. Y'all do a good job up here, and it's so much fun to go back and watch y'all. I know it gets said a lot, but it really y'all really do a good job, and I'm very much appreciative of y'all. And then all the sponsors, Jam Printing Promotions, they I think they've been here from the start. Let's see, V Speed, Alexander PCs, Cruising Classics, GTR simulators. I mean, everybody that makes all this happen, all the people that like Patrick and Charles and all them guys that do all the stuff that nobody sees, that really means a lot. So I'm very much appreciative of this league and the time I get to have. So
Yeah,
that'd be it.
we're definitely appreciative of you for coming out, always showing great racing by you. We'll see you next week, David. Hopefully, you'll be able to wrap up the season with a win.
Man, that's the goal.
Well, thank you, sir. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. You too.
That was our second place winner, Dave. Our second place finisher, David Calvert. We're gonna bring up our final podium position. Charles Aber, do you got a copy?
I do.
Well, Charles, kind of odd to talk to you from this position as much as we talk with each other during the week, but with how this race was, you were getting a lot of pressure from um, Brock Price at the back half of this race. Kind of walk us through what you were trying to do to keep him behind and what your strategy was.
I was making sure, especially in 1 2, they didn't get the inside line at all. Um, and then we went in 3 and 4, same thing. I didn't want to give up that inside line going down the straightaway, the stretch, making sure I had it. And it seemed that I started eventually just pulling away just a smidge. And um, I tried to break the draft a little bit down the back stretch, but it wasn't worth it. We were just playing around. But I guess I was hitting that corner, especially 1 and 2, better than him, because that's where I would gain. And I don't know if he ate his tires up a little bit or what, but I know it's a tricky corner. You gotta hit it pretty good and do some trail braking while you're going around it.
Yeah, I mean Texas is definitely a hard track to make passes, so I could feel for Brock really trying to work his way around you, and I know that air wall just hit him real hard, and there's nothing you can really do as a driver from behind. But you were able to pull out a P3 once again, showing your prowess out here in ARCA. Well, but we're going to Auto Club next week. What's your thoughts on that?
Of that track. I mean, there's so many lanes to run in, and I mean, obviously, getting a good qualifying effort up, just get up front is good. But seems like we always have good racing there. It doesn't matter what car it is or what vehicle it is, but with the multiple lines. I mean, I could say it could be anyone's game. Um, Trevor driver, he's is a great driver, and he's in our chat when we're racing. So he's taught us stuff. He's a college series driver, and it'll be a fun race and a lot of competitive battling.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just let you know right now. Don't let Trevor toot his horn too much, man. I can beat him. You can beat him. Don't worry about that. But with that third place, man, who do you got to thank? What's your shout outs? What's your sponsors?
Oh, oh man, it's been great this whole past season, but we couldn't do it without our sponsors. So we got Alexander PC. Um, they're great. iRacing, MK Fire Design. If you haven't seen what they have, they've got great products. Sim Motion, Harpoon Designs, great stuff. Zep Graphics, and again, thanks Alexander for what they do. Thank you, Sam, for what you do putting these on. Um, if people don't say it enough, but thank you for what you do. Thank iRacing and all of our sponsors and admin people.
Yeah, you guys deserve to have a broadcasted race, especially with the summer series. So good to have folks and family members able to watch their loved ones drive. But great to see you, Charles. I see those trophies in the background. One of those should be mine, but two of those actually. But we'll have a different discussion about that. But appreciate you being out here, Charles. Hope you have a good night.
All right, thank you, Sam. Appreciate it.
That was Charles Aver, our third place winner. Well, folks, we're heading to Auto Club next week. Like I said, for what those drivers getting their thoughts. We're wrapping up our summer series here for the ARCA Alexander PC's ARCA series here at Go Locker. Here at Auto Club, like those drivers said, multiple lanes, many grooves for these drivers to take. Depending on the weather, if we're under the lights or it's going to be sunshine, the track temp will definitely play a factor. But please come out for that. We'll try to get that broadcasted for everybody to have their last showing before we start out our fall series here at Go Locker. And like I said, for the fall series, we are planning to start that out August 25th here at Go Locker. So if you're interested in driving in one of our series for the fall series, check out the Discord for Go Locker Racing. I don't have the link able to show, but if you look up Go Locker Racing on Facebook or Google, you'll be able to find the Discord link to come in and join, put in your application, and choose the series. And we'll love to see you out here. But the main thing is always for our veterans and our first responders to give them an opportunity and a place to race and have fun. But with that, My name is Sam Yosef. It's been great commentating with you guys tonight. Saw a lot of people in the chat, Trevor Dyer's dad and a couple other people in there rooting on some drivers. Definitely great to have that support for everybody out here. But like I said, we'll be at Auto Club next week for our series finale. My name is Sam Yosef. Grateful to have this opportunity to show you some Goat Locker racing. And we'll see y'all next week.
I hope you're ready. This is going to be exciting.
And the ARCA restarts up we go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go.